Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So the questions for Salat. If traveling with a group, is it permissible to combine if they combine? Very popular question. Unfortunately not. You'll have to explain to them first that these are my limitations. Unfortunately that I won't be able to do so. So you can pray with them, whichever prayer is permissible for you to pray, and then later on you can stop quickly and make the other prayer during the other time. Now remember one thing, as far as my studies in the Shafi'i and Maliki and Hanbali madhab, when I looked at this issue to answer some questions for others, I found that even according to like the Shafi'i madhab, for instance, it's superior to pray each prayer in its time. It's superior. Although it's secondary, it's a rukhsa, which means it's just a discretion, it's permissible to join them if you had to. So it's not that you have to insist on doing it. It's not that you have to do it when you're traveling. It's better not to do it if you can. But if it's going to cause you unnecessary difficulty, then obviously you can do it. So that's just one thing that as a Hanafi you could actually would encourage that to get the more superior position, even according to the Shafi'is and Malikis. Is the khutbah of the Jummah prayer, if the khutbah of the Jummah prayer starts when it is makruh to pray, when should one pray the sunnah of Jummah prayer? If the khutbah of the Jummah, actually what's happening nowadays is that some masajid are going with the Hanbali opinion. There's an opinion in the Hanbali madhab which allows on Jummah to begin the adhan and begin the whole setup earlier than noon. So a lot of masajid are following that, because many of the masajid don't follow any particular view. They'll find an easy view somewhere and they'll go with that because they think that will facilitate for their people, and then a lot of people who are there who don't want to go that way find it very difficult. In that case, if you have to miss your sunnah, you'll just make it after the fard of Jumu'ah. You don't have to insist on praying it there. You just make it afterwards. You can make the sunnahs afterwards. Likewise in Dhuhr as well, if you came in late and you missed the sunnah, you can make it afterwards, after the imam finishes. In Ramadan, should we eat first and then pray Maghrib? Well, in Ramadan what you should do is you should eat sufficiently to curb your hunger, that then you can pray. So it's not about actually sitting down having a half-an-hour meal, but it's having a small snack, maybe a date and maybe some water or whatever you have, and then praying. So you got 5 or 7 minutes. There's more flexibility in Maghrib during Ramadan, but it shouldn't be delayed too much unnecessarily either. So you should have a small snack and then you should make the prayer. Don't delay eating either, because you're going to miss a big sunnah of making iftar on the right time. It's sunnah to make iftar as soon as the time comes for making iftar. It's not good to unnecessarily delay it. If praying Fajr and the sun comes up at the horizon, you said you would have to stop the prayer. Is this a Hanafi view only, because you can use the 20 minutes between the Fajr and to make up the missed prayer? If I understand this correctly, I believe that in the Shafi'i madhab it's not the same as the Hanafi. In the Shafi'i, if you started, if the sun began to rise, you could still pray your Fajr. It won't nullify your Fajr prayer. The sun rising does not nullify your Fajr prayer. I know in the Shafi'i madhab. I'm not sure about the other madhahib, but in the Shafi'i it doesn't. Can you use the 20 minutes to pray the sunnah of Fajr prayer after you have made the Fajr prayer on time? So if you still have time for Fajr before the sun rises and you've made your fard prayer, in the Hanafi school the sunnah is makruh to make it then. You'll have to wait until the sun rises, then do it afterwards. It's not permissible to do it about then.
In the 20 minutes?
You can't do it in the 20 minutes. Which 20 minutes? The ones after the sun rises? No, that 20 minutes, you see, the 20 minutes is actually for the Ishraq prayer. But essentially, once the sun has risen, you could pray, but they wait, because the Prophet ﷺ used to wait until the sun used to rise about it says qadra rumhin, which is as much of as a spear's length. So that's the benefit. If you made salat jama'ah and it should have been qasr, is your prayer valid? Um, if you were meant to make only 2 rakats as a musafir, but by mistake you made 4, that's fine. Your 2 rakats will become fard, the extra would become nafil. It's not a problem. And if you're praying with a group who are praying 4, you have to pray 4. You can't slip out halfway. You have to pray 4. Should one make qada of missed witr prayers? In the Hanafi school, a qada of a missed prayer is necessary. Of a witr prayer is necessary. Only qada of sunnah is not necessary, except the sunnah of Fajr, where they said you can if you want to. It'd be superior to before the dhuhr of that same day. But witr prayer, you do have to make qada. So along with Isha, you would also have to make qada of witr. What if it's just a gathering where no men can hear a woman's voice, or if a woman is home alone? Is it still makruh for a woman to say the adhan or iqamah? Yes, it is. It's just not required for them. You know, instead of that time, if they made some dhikr to Allah or something, they would get more reward, because here they would be doing something which they were actually said not to do. So it would be better for them. And can you just repeat what you said about response to the adhan? Yes, the response to the adhan, everybody should give, male and female, man and woman, which is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. The same for everything except Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. You say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You send salawat any way you want. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. And for Hayya ala Salah, Hayya ala al-Falah, you say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And for as-salatu khayrun min al-nawm in Fajr, you say Sadaqta wa bararta. If it's the time of a prayer while you're traveling, should you pray the full fard salat? If you happen to reach home when you still have time and the same salat? Okay, the question here is that if you're traveling and it's, let's say, Isha time, you're coming back from out of town and it's Isha time. You know you're going to get home in the time of Isha. Can you still pray outside qasr? Yes, you can. So if you're, especially if you're going to be very tired when you come back. So let's look at it this way. If you're in LA and you're coming up, it's a 2-hour drive, and in Los Angeles, if you prayed there, you stopped and prayed there, you'd make 2 rakats for the fard and 3 rakats for the witr. That's 5 rakats total, and you're fresh. Once you've come through your journey, you've come home, now you're going to have to pray 4 fard, the sunnah, and the witr. You're going to be really tired to do it. You're not going to have any concentration. In that case, you can make it in before you actually come in out of town. You can make qasr. There's not a problem in doing that. While Fajr prayer in Jama'ah is going on, do I have to pray to 2 rakats of Sunnah of Fajr according to the Shafi'is? Now, in regards to whether if the Jama'ah has already begun, should you pray the Sunnah or not? In all prayers except Fajr, there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ which says, إِذَا أُقِيمَتِ الصَّلَاةِ فَلَا صَلَاةَ إِلَّا الْمَكْتُوبَةِ. Once the prayer is called, once the prayer begins and is begun, then there's no prayer except the fard prayer. So in any other prayer, you will join the Jama'ah immediately and then do the sunnahs later on. Now in the Fajr, it's the same for Fajr as well according to Shafi'i, Hanbalis and Malikis as far as I know. In the Hanafi school, it's different. They say that Fajr is the most emphasized sunnah. They say it for 2 reasons. One is, Fajr is the most emphasized sunnah of all the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ said, صَلُّوهُمَا وَلَوْ تَرَدَتْكُمُ الْخَيْرِ, which means perform them even though horses trample over you, just to show the emphasis of it. That, and number 2, many of the Sahaba actually would come in, if they came in late, they would go behind a pillar or at the back, and they would make their sunnah quickly, and then they would join in the prayer. The condition is that as long as you do not fear missing the prayer completely with the imam. So in that case, you can do it behind quickly, preferably outside the masjid area if possible, otherwise behind, so that you're not disturbed by the qira'ah or it's separate. In the Shafi'i madhab, you don't have to. You should join in, as far as I know, with the imam as soon as you come in, if you're ready to pray. And there's another question here. So to clarify, Asr ends when the sun touches the horizon. Yes, when the sun touches the horizon and is about to set, that's when Asr ends. Unless you've just started the Asr prayer, then you can actually continue it even though the sun is going down. What is the length of time for Zawal? In other words, how many minutes before and after Zawal should we not pray? It's around 3 to 5 minutes, if maybe even less, it may be even 2 minutes. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into the astronomical aspect of this, but it's very short. But you can give it about 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes. And if you're in doubt about when it begins and when it starts, you don't even know when the center point is, then give it 20 minutes. Is it obligatory to repeat the adhan when other people are talking? I notice lots of people talking when adhan is called. It's very detrimental to the people who talk during the adhan. It's actually considered really blameworthy. But adhan does not have to be repeated. In Jummah prayer, valid if the khutbah is before dhuhr period comes in. In the Hanbali madhab, it is valid, but not in the other madhahib. It's valid in the Hanbali madhab, but not in the other madhabs. If you're in a place like that, you should go and explain to them that, look, this is a major issue for the Maliki, Shafis and Hanafis. To the majority, actually, it's just the Hanbali. So why are you doing something which is a minority issue, right? I know that it's for some people, it's just the best time for some people for work and so on. But this is just part of being a Muslim sometimes. While Fajr prayer, while Fajr Salat is going on, I've done that question. So that was the questions about the There's another question here. It's mustahab to pray Fajr late for the Hanafis. How about a person waiting for Jama'ah and he dies before the Jama'ah? Is he blameworthy for that? No, he's not blameworthy. It's just like you're waiting for the next Salat time to come in. Why blame the Hanafis for delaying the Fajr prayer? You're waiting for the next Salat time to come in. No, it's okay. You won't be. Because your intention was to pray in the mustahab time. Right? I'm just joking here. But your intention was to pray in the mustahab time, which is something you should be wanting to do. Mustahab, according to the Hanafi school. So if you died, you get the reward for it.
My question here was because I read somewhere that probably Abdur said that if the Jama'ah is taking place late from the beginning of the prayer, then what you should do is to actually pray and go redo it with the prayer.
Okay, that's actually what you're referring to is actually when they're doing it out of the mustahab time. They're doing it just late, like Dhuhr, you should pray early, Maghrib, you should pray early, but for some reason they're just delaying. They have a big chat, discussion before and they're delaying. Then in that case you pray first, then you just do it again with them. I know what you're talking about. But if you're doing it for the sake of mustahab, then no. And the last thing is, what is the wasitiyya aqidah? There's no such thing as wasitiyya aqidah. It's actually, Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah wrote 3 books